Warning. This video and all other videos on this channel are for entertainment purposes only. The content of this video and all other videos on this channel are the opinions of the creator only and do not constitute legal, trading, investment, or financial advice of any kind. Investing carries a high level of risk and the majority of retail clients lose money. Do not invest any capital unless you understand the risks and you are prepared to lose it all. Alright, hello and welcome to Camel Finance. I'm your boy Camel and welcome to the week. Welcome to Monday. I want to point out a couple of things just for the people that know, okay? First of all, there's been a attack, right? Some kind of terror, state-sponsored terror thing. I'm not going to go into the details. I don't care. I'm just here again to tell you that there's no World War III, even though that's what they want everyone to think. And note the timing, okay? Olympics is around 1 month away. This stuff is expected to ramp all through that. We're going to continue to see more of these sort of terror attacks. We're going to continue to see more people being scared about an incoming or certain world war. And once again, I'm just here to say that's not in the playbook. So take it or leave it, right? I don't care. Again, fitting in with this theme, if you know, you know, okay? More and more power outages. Manchester Airport in the UK experienced a full blackout, causing a bunch of chaos, of course. And we're also seeing a bunch of other blackouts worldwide in various places. So anyway, I'm seeing internets go down. All I'm here to tell you is, you know, right on schedule, right? Right on schedule. Moving on to a more light-hearted topic, I saw quite a few people pointing out that the watch markets have been in a bear market, right? That watches have been in a bear market, with Rolexes being down around 40% from their peak back in 2022. And I said, with so many people starting to point this out, it seemed like a good idea to post this old video of mine that only has around 500 views, meaning you probably wouldn't have seen it. I'll put a link at the end of this video if you're interested, and if you're lucky, maybe even a card up here whilst I'm saying this. But I did this video where I pulled these watch charts, right, like this, and then tried to do TA on it to see if it would work or not. And I have to say, even though it was kind of a joke, it would have kept you out of buying a watch only to lose money on it immediately after. So if you are thinking about buying a watch, then perhaps go and check this video out and maybe you can use this simple trick. I know I'm going to be using it for sure. So like I said, I'll put a link to that. Over in the world of Bitcoin, okay? Bitcoin doing Bitcoin things. And by that, I mean causing a whole heap of fear, uncertainty, doubt and panic and top callers and everything else, right? As it often does. Because it's so volatile, it's pretty difficult to hold sometimes. But understand this, okay? Two possible paths. All I really care about is what happens out of this cycle low, okay? So as you can see from Bob, the blue path says Camel is probably right in his assessment, says we probably are going to at least have a shot at seeing a left translated cycle top. But as I've been saying over and over again lately, do something like this red path suggests, okay? And whilst Bob says, and the cycles say, from a 4-year cycle perspective, there's nothing wrong with seeing a right translation come out of there, I personally have trouble seeing this without some things changing quite rapidly. I really don't think by the time we get in here and the stock market has blown off and everything else, right? Gold has found a weekly cycle low and started to resume to the upside. Probably going to be looking at rate cuts having been announced by the time we get here. We'll be well through the Olympics and thus we'll be expecting to see these pockets of violence and terror start to have escalated significantly. Maybe all of that can be a catalyst for Bitcoin to become the ultimate risk-off asset. But I don't think that's something I personally want to bank on. I think the best thing we could all hope for is this blue path to pay out. So hopefully that's what we get, right? Hopefully that's what we get. One thing I do know, objectively speaking, is today is day 54. Measured from this low to today, we are on day 54 now. So we have just entered the timing band or timing window to see a 60-day cycle low come in over the next 12 sessions. So hunting for swings is the current stance. Hunting for swings, probably going to be setting a trend line in here to confirm that swing, and a breakout through that swing and trend line will be me saying, okay, I think we found the low. And then, of course, as I was saying, the question becomes, okay, do we have to take left translation off the table because we do something like this? Or is it the perfect time to upset everyone? Is it the perfect time to get all the doubters, all the people that have been selling, all the people that have been calling for either a normal cycle or continuation further down for a long time before ultimately Bitcoin does what it always does? Is now the time to just impulse this thing into a double, be at 120k-ish in just a matter of weeks, just like back here when we did a double in just a matter of weeks? Is that the way that you upset the most amount of market participants? I kind of think it is, but of course I'm probably a little bit biased. As always, like I was saying, wait for the cycle low, let the price reveal itself, and once it's revealed itself, we'll be able to make an assessment and of course respond to whatever the market has told us. So this is probably the most important cycle low that we've had this cycle for me, since the bear market lows. That was the most important one. Does that cycle hold? Can we identify the bottom? That was fine. Since then, we've kind of just been riding this trend higher. It's been pretty much up only, even though most people don't feel like it was. But I would say this is probably the most important cycle low we're going to see for a while. So again, I am here to say, a wild time to be alive. Something I had bookmarked a long time ago from Tony the Bull was this Elliott wave count. You can see Tony was very, very early into this assessment of seeing this kind of left translated cycle. I don't want to put words in his mouth because he's not calling for a left translated cycle necessarily. But you can see that this Elliott wave count he was proposing suggested that we might run the all-time high just about, have this kind of corrective 4 and then an impulse to 5. And that would be somewhere around that same time frame as I have been suggesting we might see a left translated cycle. And I asked him if he would be kind enough to update us, and he has, right? So take a look at this. Are we in this corrective 4? Have we got to find a cycle low? And then can we look to put in that 5th of the 5th of the 5th? Again, this would still qualify, assuming this is not too far from November. This is going to be close to left translated, if not mid, okay? Maybe slightly later, who cares, right? It doesn't really matter. What matters is, can we get this squeeze? And if we do, can we sell the top, right? That's what really the game is about. But you can see from an Elliott wave perspective and from the blue cycle perspective, okay, we might be in a position to see a big impulsive move. We actually might. So if you're discounting this at the moment, I would just say, perhaps leave everything on the table. And as ever, I remain cautiously optimistic until this cycle low does something that makes me have to change my stance. I see Credible Crypto also getting low-key bullish here, I think, expecting to see some kind of quick flush, okay, then a compression, and then it could be impulse time. And again, if it's impulse time, okay, does that fit with everything else that we've been talking about over and over again? I think it does. Notice how here for cred, invalidation sits at around 60k. So long as we're above 60k, I think we can remain positive. And like I've been saying over and over again, but it is really important. I think how we come out of this cycle low will be a massive tell, okay? Come out of here swinging, happy days, long and strong, but come out of here in any kind of lackluster fashion. And I think we've got a little bit of concern for the first time since the lows. This whale right here does not have any concern, however. This whale accumulated a massive position down at the bear market lows and then did nothing but sell local tops and pumps the whole way up. That was until just recently, where for the first time since the bear market lows here, okay, this whale bought another 6,000 Bitcoin on this current dip. So if track record is anything to go by, okay, maybe, just maybe, this is actually a pretty important cycle low. Maybe, just maybe, this is actually a time to catch that final big squeeze to the upside. And before we go into a couple of charts, I wanted to point this out, okay? Did you know that Bitcoin is now the 13th largest currency in the world, with practically no government that has even started to support it yet? So pause your screen and take a good look at this, okay? Bitcoin doing Bitcoin things. It will likely continue to do Bitcoin things, especially as we move forward in time and the printers start going burr again. So again, I say a wild time to be alive. Hopping into the charts, of course, not a great deal has changed since the weekend's deep dive. We've got the dollar still holding support, for now at least. We've got bonds still getting ready, in my opinion, to see an acceleration to the downside. And of course, if you watch the weekend's deep dive, you know the implications that that has. We've got the cycle remaining down for gold. I'm curious to know if that really is a fake breakout and this thing is going to roll over. That's what the weekly cycle says. So keeping a close eye on that. The same is true of silver. That looked to be like kind of a nice trap and then a rejection at resistance. So again, going to still be expecting more or less something like this into that July timeframe until we find a weekly cycle low. Stock futures currently, as they sit, it's quite early in the morning here in the UK, but as they sit, are green, okay? Green for the US equity markets. And keeping in mind, for a bit of context, not only are we still kind of holding this, I want to call it a temporary third angle for now because I'm not fully married and committed to it yet, but for now at least we are holding it. And not only is that true, but we're also in that window to see a couple of day decline into a half cycle low. So it's going to be really interesting if the market gives that structure, okay? We are currently, as of today, going to be on day 15, day 16, something like that. And we would expect a half cycle low shakeout around day 20. Now, if we don't get it, okay, then we can only interpret that as blow off top things. So again, going to be looking for subtle hints and tells from the market as always. And of course, last but not least, here is Bitcoin, okay? Like I was saying earlier, today marks day 54. We have a 60-day cycle low with a window of plus or minus 6 days. So any day over the next 12 sessions, we should be looking for a violent swing and a reversal to come out of here. As I was saying, okay, get some kind of big impulsive move to the upside. I think one, that would harm a lot of people. I don't think a lot of people are kind of expecting to see this at the moment. And two, it would likely tell us that we are indeed going to have a left translated cycle, as I was saying earlier. But again, it's really, really important. Do something like this and start to roll over, okay? And I think we've got trouble ahead for Bitcoin. And I would also argue that maybe, just maybe, this isn't even on the table. But as ever, one day at a time, okay? One day at a time, no conclusions. We'll let the market speak. And it is our job to listen, as always. So other than that, okay, welcome to the week. This year's going to keep getting more and more wild. That's the only thing I know for sure. And as ever, we'll just keep doing our best, taking it one day at a time, seeing what the market will give. And until tomorrow, I hope you have a great week. Take care from me. All the best. Cheers. Bye.